Well, welcome to a special edition of Football Talk here on Islandstats.com. Joining me is the head coach of the Bermuda men's national team, Kyle Lightbourne, and assistant coach Ray Jones. Gentlemen, first of all, congratulations on achieving what you set out to do back in September of last year. I know, speaking with both of you personally, you both had ambitions of being in the position that you are, qualified for the Gold Cup. I know a lot of people probably doubted those ambitions, but you guys were able to pull it off. Tell us a bit about you guys' relationship and how that works with getting the team over the hump.
Yeah, well, first of all, good afternoon, and thank you for inviting us. We could start off with our relationship. I think it's been from a very long time where we competed against one another, as youngsters, and Ray playing for Devonshire Colts and myself playing for PAC, and we had many battles on the field, and also we played in under 20s,
17s
or 18, something like that. It was a little different there. We went to Trinidad together and played in a tournament. So we always had a friendship off the field. Then Ray got into coaching way before me. And when I came back to Bermuda coaching, and we had battles against one another. So, and I would say that we probably we both have the passion, and you see it on the side of the pitch. So it sort of works hand in hand for us.
Ray, you've worked with several people.
One more thing in common.
What's that?
We're Ghana.
Okay. I was going to allude to something like that. But that was coming from the You've worked with several coaches, especially at the national level. What would you consider this relationship like?
Well, I think part of it is as a person you grow through experiences, and what I find, first of all, I have the utmost respect for anybody that's made it at the highest level. So I would always sit down and listen to what they have to say. Just digressing a little bit, I've traveled with Clyde Bass, and when Clyde talk, I stop talking. I just listen and take in the information. So, with Lighty then coming and getting involved in the national program, I was already doing some of the youth teams, and Andrew was coaching, and I was saying to Maurice, the youth coaches should get with the senior coaches and wherever possible, help out in training or home games, possibly just be around the team. And we were starting to work on that, and then as Andrew stepped aside, Lighty became the gaffer, and we continued it. So for me, it's just like a sponge. When he speaks, I listen, but what I like the most is a respect both ways. Because if there's something that ain't quite the way how I see it, I don't have a problem in expressing that, and it's not taken personally. It's a matter of working together to get the right answer. So I think that's what's made it very easy, because some people, if I'm the boss, what I say goes, and I ain't really trying to hear what you got to say, and I would say that's far from it, and I think that's why we're working pretty good together.
Do you believe, the both of you, do you believe working as a team, because I heard you say, Ray, you got, and I've seen it for myself, you have a lot of the youth coaches involved in training sessions and helping out do you think that's the right way for this to move forward, that everybody, because you never know when you're going to be called to ask to assist in certain areas?
I think that's anything that makes sense. I mean, it's also for the coaches' growth, but for the program. Let's say if anybody took sick, then you're scrambling around to find out where that resource is. But if they've already been in the trenches and already been around, and as the program grows, we have a curriculum, we're establishing a style of play, then people should be able to go up and down so they can get the experience themselves. So.
Kyle, how do you consider this setup at the national level to the professional level of club football?
I think we still have a long way to go, but it works for us because we don't have a bunch of teams, and they're all not in practice at the same time. So it makes it a lot easier. It becomes a problem when, like, a lot of teams end up traveling at the same time, or back to back. For instance, the senior team is active right now, and now we have the under 17s getting ready to disappear off to a tournament. That's when it becomes a little challenging for the group, because I think we all know that we probably need more staff at the National Academy, but it's just not as easy as you think to just get the staff, But the staff that we do have, we work really well together. Everybody, has their strong points, and we try and use that to the best way we possibly can.
I remember speaking to you after Bermuda lost the first match in the Nations Cup in September of last year, and you boldly said to me in a conversation, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Setting out a different plan, because now you have to change a bit of your tactics a bit because you're behind now. What would you consider the significant turning point for the last 3 games to get you qualified for the Gold Cup?
One of the turning points is that we just had to reinforce a lot of things that happened in the first game. It's not that we didn't play well, it's just that we didn't execute in certain areas, and we let ourselves down defensively. So it was a lot went wrong, but it also was a lot that went right to a degree. And we were able to sort of find the right balance in the next game. It can be a little, when you think nitpicky, when you think certain players come and they come with a pre-agenda. This is how they want to play. We don't mind players expressing themselves, but to play in a certain way, we need to have the right balance. And I think when I look at the first game, or when the coaching staff probably look at the first game, the balance wasn't right. And when we got the feedback, it showed that the balance wasn't right. I look at positions, when we get the data back from the first game to the last game, it's night and day as far as positions. We had players playing almost in the same positions in the first game, according to the data that we get back. And now when we see it now, the balance is so good, and that's something that the coaches would see when we get our stuff back, the data that comes back from the game.
Ray, I would consider you a unique type of coach. You're very vocal to get your message across and strong. Is that the way you feel you can best demonstrate or get your message to the players, that sometimes you got to be a little forceful and sometimes you got to be understanding?
Well, I think on match day in particular, depending on how the match is going, sometimes it's that voice that just when the player feels like I ain't got nothing left in the tank, it's that that little growly voice from the side that just gives them that extra pep to keep going. It's not so much that way in training sessions. I mean, if everyone comes to training and the prep's good, then the sessions just flow. But on match day, when things are on the line, you know what your players are capable of. So sometimes it's just that, as you would put it, that extra little growl from the side, and it just keeps them going. I mean, even in the last match, like you would say, I think the boys were spent, and that's my rule now. Right. To get up there and just keep them, keep them going. And you could see someone that was walking decide to start running again, because it's just that voice to say, hey, well, we're almost there. So we just got to keep going to get over the finish line.
Right. Prior to, let's go back to last Sunday's match. Tell me your preparation for yourself the morning of the game. because you had to wait a long time for that game to start. So, what was your preparation, Coach? Let your secret out.
No, I woke up in the morning, early. We go down, get breakfast. I just try time things the right way. You always want to keep yourself on the move, busy, and I think I timed it quite well for myself. So I cut my hair in her, so I waited, and I cut my hair on the day. So it's things that it takes your mind off of it. It keeps you occupied. Then we got lunch, and then the meetings. We sort of done everything that we needed to do. All we had to do is have the team meeting on that day. That was what was really left. The presentation that Maurice put together for the team, all that was just finishing downloading. So it was a couple things that we just had to, tighten up, and it was more when you get to the field, and you're just anxious and you're waiting for the game to really kick off, so you can get rid of those nerves. Some people say they're not nervous. Yes, I always get nervous before a game, and Maurice is always laughing, and because he knows how you start pacing, and but that's part of it, because you want to do well. But once the game starts, you tend to settle down. I think I have a routine that I try stick to, as far as sitting in the stands for the first 15 to 20 minutes, and you get to see a nice picture of the game, and you may be able to see something that the opposition is doing that you may not ordinarily see when you are at pitch level. So, and I think it works for us to a degree, and I'm calm, because a couple of the fans were like, "Oh, you can't sit on the bench," because I was up there sitting above them, and I just said, "No, I'm just up here for the first 20 minutes of the game." And I went down when the score was 1-1, and gave the rest of the coaches the words. They said, from what I saw up there, is that we were in control of the game. They scored they scored first. It was a cross shot, being assisted, whatever. It went in for them. So, but we got ourselves back on even terms, and it was, I was quietly confident the whole day, But you just have to keep your emotions in check and make sure that you don't. My main thing is that the players don't play the game before the game comes, because I've been down that road before, So I think we timed it quite well.
Ray, what was the bus ride to the stadium like for you?
Oh, that was only a 5-minute ride. So
5 minutes seemed like half an hour?
no, not at all. I mean, Laddie and I crack jokes, because as much as he spoke about he gets nervous, we were cracking jokes because we've been doing it for so long, right? But some of the other staff were really demonstrating they were nervous, right? And we would just be nudging each other. Yeah, he's nervous. So I mean, nerves or anxiousness is all part of it, right? I would say, with the new approach of a mini training camp prior to, those anxious or nervous moments have become minimal for myself, because I just feel like everything's been done. When you ain't had the adequate prep time, I think that's when I'm at my most nervous moments prior to matches, because you're just like, well, I wish I had this, or I wish I had this much time. I know we didn't cover this. Whereas I think in the senior team now, we got it done pretty good. Where we get the players at least 3-4 days before the match. So if you prepare right, you pretty much have a good feeling on how you go into the match. I mean, my day is similar to Lightest, but I have just one slightly different thing. He thinks I'm crazy, but I get up and I have to do my workout, which is a gym workout. So I leave him in the room, and I'm doing my thing. I gotta break that sweat out, and then the day just continues. Like he said, breakfast. Similar scenario, as we age, I guess we all cut our hair and hair, so we were both doing that. And similar thing, you just kind of time it. So you're not got all this idle time where you're overanalyzing, over processing. And I think the timing, as Lady said, was perfect. When you bus right, by the time we got there, things just had to be done, just got done, and it just rolled, and it's game time after that, so.
The third goal goes in, you still got about 15 minutes to play. How do we manage that time?
That's when it became a different scenario for all of us, I guess. We scored a goal, and I can remember looking at the clock, which was across the field, and it had 77 minutes on it. That's when I looked, and I was like, wow, stupid things started going through my mind. Not like as far as, it was like, okay, we're leading 3-1. What happens if they come back and we draw this game from this situation? Like, oh, wait, and then afterwards you catch yourself and you say, no way, but this team's not. These things that are going through my mind as the game's going on, and but we're exhausted, everything, because, like you say, everybody goes through a spell where they have a moment where they could be a little panicky or something, but we work so well as a group, and I think Scott's moment was the day before the game, where Scott wanted a meeting like every minute. We need another meeting. So, but I think, and even Ray said, Scott had all the different departments together, like the defenders, then the midfielders, then the attackers. So he wanted to go over it all again to them to make sure that, make sure that we got it, so that's what he done. That made him feel comfortable. Right. That's what he needed to make him feel comfortable. But like I said, I think we were all quietly confident without getting too carried away, because, when we look back at the first game, I think if we win the first game, we probably lose to El Salvador. So it's the first game defeat hurt, because I knew we were better than that team. So, but that's football. It's on the day, and that's what I said also prior to game. If we play, we win the game, and I was fully confident in that. But you have to play on the day.
Over the years, we've always had a struggle with getting some of the better players or guys that are in academies or in the professional realm together for training camp prior to the start of a tournament, and or even be available for games. Having the players buy into the system, how difficult was that for the transition to get them to buy in, and the process it took to get them all to understand this is the goal, this is the mission?
I think the buy-in is when you can show them examples of how it works, and they see it both ways. They see it on the pitch, they do it, and then we allow them to do it the way they think it should be done, and it doesn't work. So that's part of the buy-in. When we show them on tapes how the way we're looking to play, and big teams are doing it, it's easier to digest it. It's easier for the players. The things that I think about, or it is when I was a player, the things that I didn't like to do. How can you make it easier and better for the players to do? Yes, back then, the forwards used to chase all over the place. We're not asking for our forwards to chase all over the place. We're asking for them to be in position for when we do win the ball and guide the ball in certain areas. And I think everybody in our team knows if the ball is in, wherever it is on the pitch, everybody knows where they should be. And we went over that, and we've been doing it for a time now, so it's becoming a little easier for them. Yes, when they go off to the teams that they play for, they do it the way that coach is asking them to do it. But the buy-in, I think, has worked quite well, and especially when Nikki joined up with us. Once he saw what we were trying to do, he brought into it, and so when he does it, everybody else toes the line, and it makes it even a lot easier for us. So, yeah, it's credit to the players and to the coaching staff, because we work hard. We put a lot of hours in, asking questions of ourselves and making sure that no stone is unturned. That's part of it.
Ideal situation in preparation for first the Gold Cup. How much time do you think you need to have that team together? How much time do you think you have to put in prior to that start?
Time. Myself personally, I would like to have 6 weeks in total with the players. So we know that, uninterrupted, especially three weeks prior to the tournament, uninterrupted of preparation. And then we should be in good shape then, as far as we would know everybody's physical capacity going into the tournament. I think the players need a break. They definitely need, I think I said it yesterday, 10 to 12 days break. I'm not talking, they could be still going to the gym, doing little turn sessions or things like that, but away from the football, just no kicking of the ball, total away from that. Let them have time with their families, and the weekends they have it to themselves to do whatever. And then when we do come back, we're ready to and roaring to get their fitness where we need it to be. It's going to be difficult to get everyone together because the different seasons that people are in. Willie Clemens' season's getting ready to start. Dante Lavrock is in the middle of his season. Zika's season just started. And then you got Reggie, Nikki, whose season's coming to an end, and all the players here in Bermuda, their season's coming to an end. So those are the players that need the rest. And the players that the season's just kicking off, they will probably be the fitter ones in the team. Whereas this time around, Zico's fitness wasn't probably as high as it would be leading up to the tournament.
Ray, local clubs, how important are they to this whole setup?
Well, they're very important. I think what we had 6 or 7 local based players, and of the starting 11, 4 were local based. So I think that speaks volumes. But everyone has to buy in as to the direction we're heading into. So in reference to that, as both of us, as I'm still currently involved with a local club, like previously, we discussed that. We got to think about the club, what the club's needs are, and the dates and times we suggest is already taking in consideration the clubs. It's just getting the clubs to buy into it. Big picture, right? So if now Gold Cup, you're inspiring a whole another generation of players. We complain about the domestic game, domestic players' commitment. Well, the national squad can be the catalyst to recreate the commitment that clubs are looking for. But with that, they have to kind of work along with the national program. Don't be in the background saying things to bring down the program. You can have an opinion, and that's fine. But let's all push in the same direction. And I think it will be a trickle-down effect that the domestic game would improve. We were laughing yesterday. Light has already been approached. I'm been approached by 3 players already. How can I get involved in the program? So even if they don't get selected the first time around, the environment of the program should be able to be replicated back in their club, because they can't turn that switch on and off. So then when they go back, they should be able to tell the coach, no, man, this is what's required, and inspire the other players at the club. So then hopefully come the start of next season, we start to see, some better performances, because the players are better prepared physically and tactically, because they attended their club training sessions like they were supposed to, and not making excuses as to not to attend, which then puts the local coach under stress on Sunday, because really he hasn't had the prep time, right? So that's how I see it. So if the local clubs just buy into it, we all in this football family together, then I can see the domestic game improving. And I think we're in this journey, we're used first division players. So it's not even a need for players to say, in order to get selected, I need to leave my first division club and go to a premier club to be selected. And in fact, one first division player started in the crucial match Sunday going. So, it's all clubs. So I don't think we should be thinking premier clubs is the focus. It's all clubs that's going to help the national program to be better.
Kyle, as the head coach of the men's national team, what's your message to, speaking about what Ray's just alluding to, players asking to come aboard, what's your message to any player that's on that fence?
Well, they have to obviously have their belief within themselves. They have to keep asking the questions. When they are out there playing, they have to play like that's their last game. That's something that could instantly help players. I like to watch football. I watch a lot of football, and I would like to think that I know. I've probably seen every team play. I know I've seen every team play this year in the football league. Every single team. I've seen them all play. Yes, I don't get wrong to maybe a lot of the first division games as much as I would like to, but I have seen them play. So it's players that I see that, maybe just giving the opportunity to be in that environment may get more out of them, because there's a lot of players out there that have the ability, but football is just not all about ability. You have to be able to rise to the occasion. You could have all the ability in the world, but if you can't cross that line and perform when needed, then that's when it becomes difficult for them.
Right. How difficult is it to pick? How difficult was it to pick Sunday's team? Having to leave players out and I'm talking just starting.
We talked about the team. Obviously, I think if Trey Mean was fit or not suspended, I think pretty much everybody could have pretty much picked the team. Maybe right back would have been not so much a surprise to people, but once Dante played at right back, I think a lot of people think, yeah, that makes a lot of sense for him to play at right back. But the team wasn't that difficult to pick. I think the goalkeeper's coming in is done well. Fullback, left fullback, Kalen, he's done well. So they were playing on merit, sort of. The two center halves, they have done well. Maybe the worst game they had was the first game against Aruba. We always had a problem at right back. And Zico and Lijon were definitely, earned their spot in their previous performances. And center midfield, Willie Clemens had been outstanding, in the game against El Salvador. And it was just a matter of who was going to partner him in the center midfield. And Reggie and Nikki, set up the winning goal against El Salvador. And, I think most people would have had them two down to start. So, and then it leaves Jonte Smith. It leaves Donowa, who came on. We got a Sergi Bascom in center midfield, Milan, who we just brought in. So I think overall it was just one or two positions that we had to have the conversation about and nailed on. It's up to people to move people out now. We are in that position that, yes, you could have started in the game against Dominican Republic or against El Salvador, and once somebody else gets that shirt, you gotta now dislodge them, and that's what it's about. We have to make it. Once you get that shirt, you gotta fight to keep it. So that brings out performances within. Yeah.
Audio Jungle.